There is quite possibly one mistake you're making in your hair routine that is snatching your length. Listen, I know you know all the usual tips to get your hair longer. You're keeping it moist, you're doing your protective styles, you're covering your hair, you're using your oils, you're layering your products, all of that. But somehow your hair is just still breaking and you're not retaining your length. In my experience, I've seen that there's one key part of my hair routine where it could all literally just go downhill, and all of that growth that I've gotten when I've been in my protective style can be snatched in just one go. So we're going to talk about this one mistake and the small change that we need to make in order to fix it. What am I talking about? Well, I just had my hair in mini twists and they were in for about 4 to 5 weeks. For neatness, I just kept redoing the twists at the front of my head, but I was re-moisturizing them every 5 days or so to ensure that my hair didn't get dry or too matted. But of course, because I had them in for 5 weeks, by the time I came to take them out, some of those strands were beginning to connect with each other and the roots were webbing slightly and there were more single strand knots. So what am I talking about and what is this mistake that we're making? I'm talking about the takedown process. When hair's been in a protective style for a long time, it can become more susceptible to breakage. Now, typically, I personally would only have my twists in for 2 weeks. So for me, 5 weeks is a really long time. But obviously for you, it may be 6 to 8 weeks, and some of you might even have your styles in for, 6 months. That's up to you. If it works, it works. But the point is, the longer we have our protective styles in, the gentler we have to be during the takedown process. And when we're taking down our hair, if we're being really rough with it, and what's going to happen is the ends of our hair is going to break, and all that growth that we've seen from the roots, it's almost going to feel like it was for nothing because our ends have just broken off whilst we're taking our hair out. So what are some of the ways that this can happen? Well, number one, it happens when we're rushing. Sometimes because there's so much to do, we just want to get through it. But if we're rushing, then we're not being gentle and we're probably ripping through knots and ripping our hair out in the process. Another reason this happens is through tiredness. Again, when we're tired, we don't have much energy to do our hair. We're not even thinking through it properly and we're kind of just doing it mindlessly. But again, that's definitely something that's going to result in breakage. And the last reason I feel is very similar to the first, but it's that we get impatient. So sometimes we come across a knot in our hair and instead of taking out each strand one by one, releasing the knot in a safe way, we just give up and we just rip it out. And the funny thing is, when I was previously taking care of my hair, I didn't even notice that I was doing this, but I was. And that may be the same for some of you. Maybe when you're taking down your hair, you're rushing, you're tired, you're impatient, and inadvertently you're ripping through your hair and breaking off your ends without even noticing. But that's why you're watching this video. And now you're going to be more aware of it and you can change it. So before we get into what you can do to prevent it, some of you are probably going to be totally new to hair growth and length retention like I was 5 years ago. And if your hair's been stuck at one length forever, let me tell you, it's honestly not supposed to be that way. I don't care how black you are. I don't care how kinky and thick your hair is. God created it to grow. So that's what we're going to do. So if you need just a few starter bits of advice to help you, get started on retaining length, then I'd encourage you to click the link in the description box of this video and you can get access to a free download of 8 tips that I put together that's going to help you grow your natural hair from past bra strap length. But like I was saying, what can you do to prevent breaking off the ends of your hair right after you've just got some amazing growth from your protective style? Firstly, try your best not to even touch your hair when you're tired, annoyed, or if you're in a rush. If you have to style it because you're going out or something, see if you can just try something else, like putting on a wig or a piece, or even gelling your edges if you feel like you have to. Secondly, you don't want to be impatient with your hair. You really want to take your time and you really want to be as gentle as possible. Undo plaits. If you got plaits, undo them from the bottom. If you got twists, then you can undo them from the middle or potentially the top, but don't get complacent with it and really ensure that you're untangling the ends first. Because if you think about it, if you undo a twist from the top, you're actually tightening it down the bottom, if that makes sense, unless you release the ends first, like you're actually seeing me do in this video. So then when you come across knots, I'd also say just stop, even just for a split second. just acknowledge to yourself, this is a knot. I actually have to slow down. I have to change tack. I can't actually continue with what I'm doing. Another tip that almost always works for me is instead of pulling strands apart, I pull one up and out of the knot. Then I move on to the next strand and I do the same thing, literally pulling it up and then out until you've isolated the knot, and then you can cut it off with your hair shears. Just by the way, if you value this video and what I'm saying, then do click the like button and the subscribe button, because these are the kind of videos that I absolutely love sharing, and YouTube is going to show you more of them. Okay, so thirdly, another thing that's massively going to help is just apply a little bit more product, whatever it is that you're using. One that I personally love is African Pride Aloe and Coconut Pre-Poo, something like that. It's amazing. I've heard other people raving about Aunt Jackie's Not On My Watch as well, instant detangler. Some people use flaxseed gel, okra gel, you know, basically just anything with really good slip. Something I learned from Naturally High in the beginning as well was using a conditioner mixed with oil, and I still do that now sometimes. Lastly, start detangling with your fingers first. You want to work through the tangles, work through the knots, and then utilize a comb and a brush to do the rest. But ideally, you don't really want the detangling tool to do all of the work for you. So just recapping the tips, you want to be patient with your hair and your knots. Try that up and out method where you take the strand up and then out so that you isolate the knot. Try using a product with good slip to help you glide through the knots. And lastly, begin with your fingers and then utilize a tool, because then all of that length that you've grown in whilst you've been in your protective style, you get to keep it all. Yay! Because you're not allowing the takedown to snatch your ends. You know, we're always talking about snatch edges. Listen, girl, you don't want your ends to be snatched either. Hey, God bless you everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.